Battles raging across Ukraine as the Russian military closes in on the heart of Kyiv. And world leaders take their next step in efforts to stop Vladimir Putin.
Here at home, from Nassau County to Times Square, people stood in solidarity with Ukraine and called for peace. Good evening, everyone. I'm Joe Torres.
And I'm Sandra Bookman. Fighting intensifies in Ukraine as Russian troops press on towards the center of the capital city of Kyiv. But officials tell ABC News the fight isn't going quite as expected, as the Ukrainian people have taken up arms and are putting up a strong resistance.
And breaking right now, the White House and the European Union just announced they're expelling Russian banks from SWIFT, the network that connects banks all around the world. ABC's Em Nguyen joins us now with the very latest from Washington. Em?
Joe, Sandra, President Biden is closely monitoring the conflict in Ukraine, which a UN official says has forced more than 150,000 Ukrainians to flee into neighboring countries. Explosions and fighting near the heart of the Ukrainian capital as Russian troops close in on the city. New video posted by the mayor of Kyiv shows a missile blowing up parts of an apartment building. Tatiana and her family were inside, saying, "My kid's room is now a mere hole. If she were there, she wouldn't survive." Ukrainian President Zelensky posting a new video this morning in Kyiv, standing his ground, saying, "We will defend our country because our arms are our truth." Ukrainian military officials say Russia's attempt to surround Kyiv has been slowed by the fierce resistance of their forces. A U.S. senior defense official echoing that sentiment, saying Russian troops have failed to take any Ukrainian cities. But as Russian aggression pushes on, the mayor of the southern Ukrainian city of Mykolaiv now warning of an immediate fall to Russian forces. A Pentagon official saying it's believed Russian troops are resupplied and poised to execute a coordinated assault on Kyiv at any time. The Ukrainian military relaxing restrictions on who can join the army, handing out 18,000 weapons to volunteers to help in the fight. The former president of Ukraine in central Kyiv.
We are here to protect Ukraine, and the Russian position is about a little bit more than 2 kilometers from here.
Ukrainian officials also warning against misinformation, claiming Russia's comment that Ukraine refused to negotiate are just part of their tactics, saying Ukraine will not accept ultimatums for their people, only, quote, full-fledged negotiations. This comes as President Biden imposes sanctions against President Putin and authorizes an additional $350 million in security assistance to Ukraine. And Russia is warning Finland and Sweden that their possibility of joining NATO would trigger serious military political consequences from Moscow, a threat both nations have brushed off. In Washington, Em Nguyen, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
And thank you very much. A show of support and a call for action to help people caught in the middle of the violence in Ukraine. People gathered in Times Square today to not only offer support, but also to raise awareness about exactly what is happening. Many still have family and loved ones in Ukraine at this hour.
It's a tough time for our country, and we are begging you, please help my country too. My mother is still there. She's in eastern Ukraine in the second biggest city, which is Kharkov, Ukraine. This is a picture of my family. On the picture, my dad, my small sister, and my brother is on the side. As things are being bombed around them, my dad's sister constantly is we're in touch. Like they hear about things, they hear shooting.
Some people say they have been told not to ask their relatives exactly where they are out of fears that their calls are being monitored.
The crisis in Ukraine hits especially close to home for one family in Nassau County. Their loved ones are now hunkered down underground in Ukraine, protecting the water supply. Eyewitness News reporter Shantae Lands met the family and spoke via FaceTime to their relatives in Ukraine.
As the bombing continues over Ukraine, 46-year-old Oleg Kovalsky sits below ground in Gorodok Saturday evening, about 300 miles from Kyiv.
We are just defending the water pump station. We protect it from the Russian aggressor.
Oleg's wife and children spent the last 2 nights hiding in their basement as he and other civilians band together to protect water reserves and other infrastructures.
I feel proud that I can defend my country from Russian aggressor.
Oleg talked with us through FaceTime with his sister, Irna Bucha, in Glen Cove.
We can support them with our prayers from the bottom of our hearts.
She's part of a group called the Ukrainian Members of Long Island, who were part of a push led by Republican Congressman Lee Zeldin and Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman to remove Russian diplomats from the Killenworth compound.
Expel these Russians from Nassau County. We don't need them here.
The 26,000 square foot mansion was bought by the Soviet Union to become the country retreat of the Soviet and later Russian delegation to the United Nations.
I'd like to see us discuss it with the executive branch and with the United Nations people that represent the United States of America.
Back in 2016, the Obama administration shut down another Russian compound in Old Brookville. That was for punishment for alleged interference in the presidential election. As for Oleg, is this frightening for you?
No, because there are a lot of the same people as me, which were very brave and hard and want to defend our country.
Making his 2-year-old niece and brother-in-law proud.
It's scary, but I am also proud of him. I'm proud of him for standing up.
In Glen Cove, Shantae Lands, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
Meta Platforms, that's the parent company of Facebook, is cracking down on Russia. Meta says it is barring Russian state media from running ads for or monetizing its platform anywhere in the world. A spokesperson says changes already have started rolling out and will continue through the weekend.